Hello everyone. After my initial perk analysis of the Walking Dead chapter, I decided it'd be a good idea to go ahead and showcase one build for each of the new perks added to the game. This is going to be 6 different builds that each utilize each of the individual new perks added to the game in a build that fits their specific playstyle. First up, we're going to have the Pallet Dive build. Now this is a really fun one, and the perk that we're going to be centering this build around is going to be Conviction from Michonne. So the idea with this perk is when you're downed, after you recover so much, you can go ahead and pick yourself up. Notice it says that it requires 25%. Now we're going to pair Conviction, because Conviction's actually going to down you again after 30 seconds, with Plot Twist. So we can go ahead and drop ourselves without Conviction triggering the down, which means that we can actually pick ourselves up all the way and fully heal ourselves. Now, when we're going to plot twist, we're actually going to plot twist on top of a pallet. That way, we can use Flip Flop to convert half of our recovery progress into Wiggle progress, which we can pair with Power Struggle to instantly stun the killer if we were to get picked up. So Power Struggle requires 15% Wiggle progress. Conviction requires 25% recovery. And Flip Flop gives you half of your recovery. So, if we know that Conviction is able to be triggered, if we just get a little bit more progress on it, we should hit that 30% recovery needed in order to activate our Power Struggle. And the good news is after we plot twist ourselves, we can Conviction again. So we just need to see and make sure that we have that ability button prompted on the screen, and we can go ahead and push the rest of our plot twist. And if we can finish our recovery and just heal ourselves, that's great. But if the killer picks us up in between, then we're safe and can just go down via the pallet, cancel the Conviction knockdown so we can save it if we want, or we can just go to another pallet and plot twist again. You can really run any kind of item or add-on with this. I'm just running the Fog Vial for now. The second build is going to be a chest-oriented build. And before I get too deep into this, I need to point out that they have just changed how keys work with this update as well. Now, keys can be used to quickly unlock chests, which is going to be really useful for proccing the requirements for our 2 perks. Apocalyptic Ingenuity. It requires 2 chests to be searched, and then you can repair a broken pallet. Moment of Glory requires the same trigger, 2 chests, and then whenever we become injured, we automatically heal ourselves after 60 seconds. This way, if we're spending the amount of time to go search 2 chests, we get 2 perks procced after we complete it. Now, to help us in our chest finding endeavors, we're actually going to be running Plunderer's Instinct to show us the aura of each chest. That way we can just speed run every single chest in the game. We're also going to be running the Shiny Coin offering so that the entity creates 2 more chests each game. And the last perk is Appraisal, which is going to allow us to rummage a chest after we search it, which will allow us to go ahead and just turn 1 chest into 2, meaning after we search any 1 chest, we'll get both of our perks activated. Now, next one is a little bit buggy right now, and I haven't had as many opportunities to test it as I would like, but we're going to go with it conceptually. Michonne's perk, Last Stand, means that if you activate the perk by being in the killer's tear radius, you can fast vault, and if the killer is within 2.5 meters, you go ahead and stun them for 3 seconds, which is super cool. So my idea here is what you can do is you can fast vault a window, stun the killer, hop into a locker, or potentially, I'm not sure if a locker vault counts as a fast vault. I think that this perk is only going to work when you vault a window, but I'm not sure. And it needs more testing, and we need to see it in the final version. But keep that in mind, and we pair it with Head On. So my perfect scenario idea for this build is we're going to run by a locker and run into it, or vault over a window, whatever's required by the perk. Stun the killer that way. Wait for the killer to wrap around, and by that time we will have been in a locker for 3 seconds, at which point we will jump out, head-on stun them for another 3 seconds, drop a flashbang that we have crafted inside the locker on the killer to completely blind them, and run Champion of Light so that the killer is actually hindered by 20% for another 6 seconds. This is the absolute wombo combo of the century. And of course, just run a flashlight to pair with Champion of Light. You can test for Lightborn and just see what other saves you can get and play around that playstyle as well. Now, the best way to get this build to work is to do it with another person, so that you can just loop the killer together. So first of all, what you're gonna do is you're gonna be running We're Gonna Live Forever, so that if your friend gets knocked down by the killer, you can pick them up, and then when you pick them up, you're gonna be healing them very fast, and when they're picked up, they're going to get endurance, which means they're protected. Then you're going to have the power of 2 proc, which means as long as you two stay together, you will both have 5% haste. That's going to encourage... So you can proc this perk by just healing another survivor or picking them up from the down state. Then we're going to be running Made for this. That way, when we heal another survivor, say that we're picking them up off the ground, we're actually going to give ourselves endurance. And if we get hit while we have endurance, we have that 3% haste. Our teammate is also going to be running Made for this. That way, if they get hit after we pick them up from the endurance proc from We're Gonna Live Forever, they still get that chance to get hit with their endurance and get that extra 3% haste. Meaning with the 5% from Power 2, you'll be rocking 8% haste. After that is when we're going to start to use Michonne's perk Throwdown. Whenever you pallet stun the killer or blind them, everyone gets endurance around the killer. So as you can see, with Throwdown, We're Gonna Live Forever, and Made for this, you have multiple chances for the endurance status effect, and when you get hit with the endurance status effect, you're actually going to get faster for it. Next, I call it the build, or Screaming build. We're going to be centering this build around the Come and Get Me perk. After you unhook a survivor and press a certain button, you can press the button at any time, doesn't have to be right after you unhook the survivor. Survivors around you leave no scratch marks or pools of blood, and the killer sees your aura for 5 seconds. So this is going to be trying to get the killer's attention by yelling at them. So of course, we have to pair it with Scene Partner. Anytime you look at the killer, you're going to scream, and you have a chance to scream again, and that's going to show you the killer's aura for 6 seconds, and then an additional 2 seconds for each time that you scream after. Which I don't think there's actually a cap on how many times you can scream, and Scene Partner leads to a lot of funny situations. We're going to be pairing that with Dramaturgy, a nice exhaust perk that gives you a lot of value in a lot of different areas. And then the final perk is going to be Dark Sense. Anytime a generator is completed, this perk is going to activate. And then when the killer enters 24 meters around you, you're going to see their aura. So the idea behind this is we're going to go ahead and scream at the killer, get their attention, wait for them to get near us, and we can see them with Dark Sense. We're going to use Dramaturgy to loop them as much as we can and create other items, and Scene Partner to continue seeing their aura as much as we can and keep screaming at them. And we're actually also going to be running a map because they changed how maps work as well. Maps are now like an itemized version of Windows of Opportunity. So this is just going to continue to help you loop the killer around the map. The last build orients around the last perk, Rick's Toughen Up. So the idea behind this build is you're going to be going out of your way to follow other people in their chase to try and get saves, even when you have just been unhooked. So another perk that would really fit in here actually is Off the Record. So the idea is you're going to be surrounding another survivor and a killer while they're chasing each other. Whenever the survivor does good and stuns the killer, you're going to be completely hidden. So even if you're injured, you can go for flashlight saves. You're going to be running Dead Hard in case you get spotted. You can just go ahead and Dead Hard, get hit, and get out of there. Then we're going to be running Background Player, which is another exhaust perk. Reminder, you cannot use Dead Hard with Background Player. You have to choose which one you're going to use. But Background Player activates when a killer picks up a survivor. So if they're picking up a survivor, you're not going to be needing to Dead Hard. And then you can just run in front of the killer and get the flashlight save. The last perk that we're going to be looking at is Blood Rush. Blood Rush is a perk that allows you, after you've been unhooked, to press a button and completely clear yourself of the exhaust status effect. So the idea here is you're going to be on the hook. You're going to get unhooked. Someone's going to trade for you. You're going to start to run away, and then you're going to hide in a corner and wait for them to pick up the other person. Maybe your endurance runs out and the killer spots you. They're going to come right at you, and then you can Dead Hard and survive the hit. Then, after you Dead Hard, they're going to go let you run away and turn around to pick up the other survivor. That's when you use your Blood Rush to get rid of your exhaust, and then you can use your Background Player to run back in the zone and get the flashlight save. And all in between there, while other people are distracting the killer with flashlight blinds or killer stuns, including blinding the killer while they're hooking a survivor, you can do that. You're just going to get extra stealth protection. Let me know what you guys think of these 6 builds here. Which one's your favorite? What's your favorite perk from the Walking Dead chapter? And comment down below any other builds that come to mind when you read these perks. I will be having gameplay video coming soon. I want to have a chance to showcase each of these builds one by one and just get the best games possible to show for you guys, so just hold tight. So until next time, thanks for watching.